Hey everyone, in today's video I just want to share with you this palette of colors that I am currently using in 2019. Now this selection is not as exciting compared to the other limited color palettes that I have featured on my channel so far, because many of these colors are actually the same ones that I have used many years ago when I started using Daniel Smith colors. So when I started, I was using these 10 colors. Out of these 10 colors, the ones that I am no longer using are Viridian, because when you squeeze this paint into a pan, it will harden back into a rock, which becomes impossible to dissolve. So I have swapped this out. Instead, I am now using Phthalo Green blue shade. Italian burnt sienna I'm no longer using because it's not very different or not very special compared to burnt sienna. Since most watercolor boxes can hold 12 colors, I have added 2 colors to my original selection of 10. They are raw sienna and cerulean blue chromium. If you go back to my earlier videos, you may see me cut out some of those graphite, water-soluble graphite pencils to squeeze into a pen like this. But I've since stopped using them. So these are the 12 colors that I'm going to swatch out today and talk more about. Let me just wet the colors first. All these colors are actually from Daniel Smith. For my cool yellow, I have lemon yellow. This is a very bright, clean, intense yellow, PY175. It's quite rare to see such a clean yellow in real life, unless you are painting a lemon. But usually when I'm using this color, I will mix it with another color. The next color in my palette is New Gamboge, and this is the color that I usually use to mix with lemon yellow to make it look a bit more natural. So what I usually do is, if I'm using lemon yellow like this, I would just add in a tiny bit of New Gamboge just to make it less bright. And this color, if you mix it wet on wet, it can look somewhat like Hansa yellow medium. There's usually a muted yellow in my palette. It's either raw sienna, yellow ochre, or Monte Amieta natural sienna. One of the ochres or sienna. This is raw sienna. I like to have a muted yellow or muted earth like raw sienna, because when I add a tiny bit of red to it, I can mix very beautiful skin tones very easily. This red that I've just added, this is Quinacridone Red, PV19. The same pigment that's used to make Quinacridone Rose. Just for comparison purposes, let's see Quinacridone Rose beside Quinacridone Red. So Rose, this is more towards the magenta side, and red, this is, I would say, it's actually very difficult for me to say whether this is warm or cool, but relatively speaking, this is warmer compared to Rose. And when you add more water, they both sort of dilute to look the same. If you have Quinacridone Red, then there's no need to include Quinacridone Rose. For my cool red, I have Quinacridone Magenta. This is a very intense magenta. This is PR202. I use this color to mix purples. I don't have a warm red in my palette. To get a warm red, I will actually mix either New Gamboge or lemon yellow with Quinacridone Red. So with New Gamboge, you can get a warmer orange like red. With lemon yellow and Quinacridone Red, this is, I think, what you would consider a more traditional red. Next, I have Permanent Brown, PBR25. I actually have no idea why I chose this color years ago. This is actually a color that I seldom use. You can use this color to get a beautiful gray with phthalo blue. So this is what you get when you add Phthalo Blue to the mix. And this is permanent brown with ultramarine. I can see a hint of purple or violet in this. Permanent brown does not granulate, so all this granulation is actually from ultramarine. This can be good for mixing dark values, and this is what you get when you add some green. This is Sap Green. You get some sort of brown. For the blues, I have Phthalo Blue. This is a very intense, cool, transparent blue. Phthalo Blue has very high tinting strength, so a tiny bit of paint can go a very long way. A 15 ml tube can last for a very long time. This is French Ultramarine, PB29. Phthalo Blue is PB153. And this is Cerulean Blue Chromium. Looks a bit like Phthalo Blue, but it granulates. For the greens, I have Sap Green. I use this a lot. And Phthalo Green. This is for painting the darker greens. I usually mix this with a red, either Queen Red or Queen Magenta, to get the really darker shades. So this is what happens when you add Quinacridone Red to Phthalo Green. It sort of neutralizes it, and can use this to paint the shadows for trees, for anything that is very dark and green. Lastly, there is Burnt Sienna, PBR7. Of course, the classic mix is with French Ultramarine to get those beautiful grays. For darker grays, I would use Ultramarine, but for lighter grays, I would use Cerulean Blue Chromium. For purples, I have Quinacridone Magenta and Cerulean Blue Chromium. This gives me a very beautiful purple. Sometimes I may mix Cerulean Blue Chromium with Quinacridone Red as well. French Ultramarine and Magenta would give you a purple as well. A different looking purple compared to the one with Cerulean Blue. So with this palette that I have, I'm able to get vibrant primary as well as secondary colors. The only color I'm thinking of switching out is actually primary brown, which I do not use often. I still have the 15 ml tube from many years ago. It's half full, and yeah, because I don't use it that often. So I'm thinking of switching this out, but I don't know which color I might want to add. Maybe a Pyro Scarlet, but I can get a red with lemon yellow and queen red. If I add another blue, it seems to be a bit excessive, as I already have 3 blues in my palette. So yeah, that's my dilemma. I've also considered adding Hansa Yellow Medium, but with lemon yellow and new Gamboge, I can mix a mid yellow. So probably no point adding Hansa Yellow Medium. This is how raw sienna and Queen Red looks like when dry. Maybe I should just replace this with Cobalt Blue Deep PB74, one of the most exciting colors that I have used. Anyway, let me know in the comment section which color you think I should use to replace permanent brown. I would love to hear from you, to get some ideas from you. Alright, thanks for watching today's video. I hope this is somewhat interesting. See you in the next video. Bye! Oh hey, since you're still here, I just want to let you know that I am selling off some of my excess watercolor paint to make space to get more colors to test and also feature on my YouTube channel. So if you want to help me out, you can check out the colors that I am selling from the link in the video description below. Alright, that's all. Ciao!